Hello my fellow crafters and welcome back to Inspiration for Cards. My name is David and today I'm going to be making a Lavinia card for you. This project marks my last project as a guest design team member and I was really honored to be on the team for September. I had a blast. I love Lavinia, you know that, and yeah, it was really fun to make this. So this is going to be the last card, not my last Lavinia card by all means, because I love the brand, don't get me wrong, but as a design team, guest design team member. So what am I going to do? I've got this vision in my head. Who knows it's going to work? We're going to find out together. Yeah, no, we're going to play with some ink stamps, beautiful stamps. And so let's switch the cameras around and I will explain more about that. So here we have the stamps that I'm going to be using. I'm going to use ash. I'm going to use some of these silhouette foliage. I'm going to use the, what's it called? Hazel. And a tree stem. That's what I'm going to use. I've got an A7 card here. This is the Multifarious card, a black matte layer, and the base card. I'm going to put those to the side because I will mess those up if I don't. Now, I've got this idea in my head, and it's involving that I'm going to use a card that's just using different colors of blue and gray. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm debating what to start with, but I'll just go ahead. So I've got a bit of this masking tape here. I don't know what brand it is. It's just like Post-it paper, really. And I'm going to tear off a piece. I'm gonna see where I want my horizon. It's gonna be somewhere around here. Okay, stop fussing around, David. That's where it's going to be. Okay, then I'm going to use different colors: blue, tumbled glass, salvage patina, peacock feathers, and enchanted mariner. So these are the colors that I'm going to be using. So let's get started and we'll see where it leads me. And I'm just going to start with that lightest color here in the center. This is a very light blue. I'm just going to work that in. And if it's going to be patchy, I don't care because I'm going to wet this with water and patchy is fine in this case. So just wipe my brush off on my paper and get salvage patina. I love salvage patina. It has a, magical touch to it, in my opinion. Now, this is a card that's going to be fitting really well in the theme Enchanted Forest. That is the theme for the monthly challenge this month. So if you want to join in the challenge, I'll post a link where you can enter your card for the monthly challenge, the creative challenge. It's going to be fun. All these beautiful cards with the theme Enchanted Forest. Now I'm coming back in with tumbled glass. I'm just gonna blend these two together a bit more. Okay, that's fine. Next I'm coming in with peacock feathers. And I'm just gonna go around that salvage patina, coming in a bit, going up a bit. Just creating a bit of a bluish sky. And then I'm going to come in with Enchanted Mariner. Now I know that's the last color I used, so I don't have to wipe my brush. Load up that brush and really make some room for myself. There we go. And come in from the sides, because I want the sides to be the darkest. And that's going to give me a magical sort of skyish. And I'm going over that other color that was peacock feathers. And I will come back in with peacock feathers. Just to make sure that's combining with that Uncharted Mariner, and actually this is exactly what I had in my mind. It's coming together. It's turning into this sort of magical sky, in my humble opinion, and I like that. So just coming back in, but I will darken the edges anyway, bringing that dark in a bit. Now I'm just going in horizontal movements just to create, yeah, I don't know how to call it, different layers of darkness and light. So next I'm coming in with my picket fence, I think that's how you pronounce it. Load up my brush. I'm just gonna lighten up this area here. And I'm gonna do what I just did with the darker color, bringing in some of that light just in the sky. There we go. That's that. So for now, these can go to the side. And I'm going to take off my tape. Now, this worked perfectly. Now the tricky part for me is to line this up so that I don't have a white edge in between. Like that. And then I'm coming in with two colors of gray, pumice stone and hickory smoke. Now I'm coming in with the lightest color first, and what I want is a straight path from the middle right towards where my lightest point is there. Just checking that I've got it right. And then coming here, I will just make that ever so slightly a bit wider, giving the illusion to have a pathway that's going in that way. That's that. Next I'm coming in with hickory smoke. Load up my brush, and I'm going to come in from the side, quite heavy-handed, bringing that into my pathway. Clean off my brush again. I'm gonna come back in with that lightest color. The pumice stone. And I'm gonna blend these two together, making them a bit softer. So there we go. We've got sort of a pathway going that way, which is what I wanted, and there we have my horizon, which is still perfectly in place. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my water, this is just plain water, and I'm going to spritz this. Bigger droplets. I'm just going to sort of soak that with water and let that do its thing. Let it move around for a minute, let it oxidize. Spritz it even some more, and then I'm going to dry it. And I love that multifarious card because look, you can really just bend it right back into place and it's nice, almost flat again, which is something that I really like. And you can still see my lightest point here, but I just want to ever so slightly reinforce that by taking my picket fence and just lightening up that center and just flicking out. Now you don't really see that on camera, but it's giving it sort of a sun ray look. I will reinforce that later on with my pastel pencil, but so that's my background done. So for stamping, I'm going to be using Versafine Clair in Nocturne. And I'm gonna use my big one, the tree stem. Now the other day I've used my bigger Lavinia stamping block. Can't find it. Don't know where I put it, so I'm going to use this one. So that's on there nicely. So I'm going to ink that up and just wipe this part off. There we go. Just making sure there's a good layer of ink on there. Take a scrap piece of paper, put that underneath, like that. And then I'm going to stamp my first tree out. And I want that to be right here. That did not work, but I will fix that. I know why it didn't work, because I had that piece of paper. It was just a stupid action. I will come in and fix that in a minute. First, let me stamp this the other way around, like so. Prolonging that tree stem. So next I'm gonna ink it up again. And I'm just going to see if I can line it up. There. Good enough. So I'm going to do some stuff to the tree anyway, so I'm not too bothered. Right. The next one is going to go, let me turn this around, that might go better, David. Yep. It's going to go right here on the edge. That's a good one. I can stamp if I want to. And the other one, connect them right here and stamp that. There. Nice tall trees. And that's how I'm going to build up my forest scene. Another one here. And the last one is going to go right there. And the other one is going to go right here. There we go. Now I'm just going to take these two and connect them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ink it up again. Stamp off and put a second generation right here, just to fill up that space a bit. And yeah, it is a forest in the end, so stamp it off. And put one right there. Next, I'm coming in with my Hazel stamp. I'm going to put that onto my Lavinia block. And give that a good layer of ink. And I'm going to use that to create my branches of the tree. I'm just going to put that down. I'm just going to frame that with these branches, the hazel tree, but then use it in a different way. Now just let me have a look. You see, it's really giving it some fun, depth with the second generation as well. It's really making a difference. It's starting to look like a forest, right? Okay, next I want to stamp. There's a lot of stamping. I love that. I want to stamp, what's he called? Ash. I love him. I know he's a fox, but I think he's a dog. Sorry. I keep referring to Ash as a dog, where I know it's a fox, so. Just gonna ink him up really well. Just tap, 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 because it's such a solid stamp, but also with so much detail around it with the little hairs, etc. So I just want to make sure, and I'm going to put him right in the center. Right there. There we go. I'm really giving this ink time to sink in, to go over these different layers of ink that are already on there, just making sure that all that black is on my card. Okay, now this is quite a plain card, but we will make it more. Where is my, that's my foliage, or what is it called? Foliage set. And I'm going to use this little grass thingy, and I just want to put some here besides the pathway. So I'm going to start here and stamp, putting some interest in front of the trees. That is enough. Yeah. So I'm going to quickly dry this. To make sure I don't smudge all that black. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my Inktense watercolor pencils, and I'm just going to use this beautiful blue. Is this blue? Yeah, dark blue. And I'm going to come in, and I'm just going to make these sides a bit darker of the tree. Just coloring in over the tree. And the same on the other side. Next I'm taking my Lavinia watercolor brushes, and I'm just gonna wash that out. And I will do that to all trees. So half of the trees are done now, and you can see it really brings the trees to life. I'll do the other ones, because that'll be a different view again. And then we'll continue. Yeah, I like them like this. I'm going to do more, obviously. We're not done by all means, but I'm going to dry this in between. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to come in with my pastel pencils, and I'm just going to go around the trees with white, highlighting the trees on this side. And then with my finger, I'm just going to softly blend that out, because I don't want it to be a harsh line, obviously. I'm just going to like that. you see that? It brings that tree to life. I'm just going to give Ash a bit of a highlight here and around his fur. Okay. Then with this light blue, I'm coming in and I'm just gonna give a swoop of color on these edges that are on the trees. Coming in with this light blue. This is a pastel pencil, but I'm just lightening the ones where the light is hitting. So I'm not gonna continue to pull them all the way through. To me, this looks like a magical forest or an enchanted forest. That's what it was, David. Okay, next I'm coming in with this darkish green. I'm just gonna create on the pathway some shadows. I'm going to give him some shadow. And just with my finger again, I'm going to be smudging that out. Just giving some dimension to that pathway. It's never really flat. Just scribbling and then blending that out. Then I'm going to come in, oops, with my white and giving some highlights as well. Now let me just get my thingy. Just going to blend this out. It's coming together nicely, in my humble opinion. Now there's a tree here that I want to give some shadow. These trees need to have a little bit more. I like that. Yeah, and we're not done yet. I've said that many times in this video, I think, but now what I'm going to do now is take my white and I'm going to just make some how do you call that? Rays going through, reflecting. And I'm just going to blend that out. So it's not really visible, but it's just giving it a bit of an illusion. See that? It's really beaming now from the center. Just want to lighten up this center a bit more. Just put some white on and blend that out. There we go. Now the light is really coming in. Now, next I want to create more of a darker haze because it's too light for me now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Twilight and my blending brush. And I'm going to come in from here and darken up the outer edge. Just creating that mystical feeling even more. Now with some black, I'm just going to intensify the shadow in some places, making it a bit darker. This is what I do. I start with the lightest color of the two, and then I'm going to blend in the black. It's easier to add color than to take it off in my... it's how I see it. You see now it creates just a bit more depth on the card. Now I'm just going to take back my beautiful stamp, which is called, I keep forgetting the name, Hazel. You see, I do know. I'm just going to add some more branches to the top to bring it more to the foreground. Yeah, perfect. You see, that's going over all that blending that we did just now. Just bringing that back into the foreground again. So, next I'm coming in with my glue pen, but first I'm going to dry this. I'm just gonna make sure that's dry. Blotting it off. There we go. I just think it's coming together really nicely. Next, I'm taking my glue pen and I'm just gonna go around the stems of the trees. Like that. And I'm gonna put some glue right on top of these thistles. Let's say they're thistles. I like that idea. Just some dots, no rhyme or reason. And I'm gonna dry that, and once it's dry this will be tacky, and then the fun bit starts. Well, this was fun already, don't get me wrong, but now I'm coming in with a piece of foil, pretty side up, and I'm just gonna dab that on there. And I think that's gonna make this enchanted forest even more enchanted. This is what I do, I just dab it on there. You see the trees are glowing in that moonlight or whatever light it is, because it's magical, we don't know. So I think I'm gonna leave it as is, because this was just a finishing touch for me. So let me clean up my mess, and then we're gonna put this card together. So first I'm gonna take my black matte layer and I'm gonna put that on there. I'm using my glue because the panel is quite warped. Not really, but yeah, there's been a lot of heat and water on it, and so I think with the glue then it's just easier to adhere. And this one is going to go right onto my base card. Now I'm not going to use a sentiment on here, just simply because I think this speaks for itself. And I will put a sentiment on the inside and finish that off, but for now this is the finished result and I'm in love with this card. I really am. It's, yeah, I love it when a plan comes together. I had this idea in my head and it worked out, so that's really cool. Okay, well, thank you guys for watching. This is the finished result. In the different light you see even more of the sparkle and the shimmer. I love it. I hope you like it too, and I really hope that you enjoyed me being on the design team for the month of September. It was an honor and a privilege for me to be on the guest design team, on the design team as a guest design team member. Well, that's a mouthful. But anyway, I loved it. And thank you for having me. Thank you, Lavinia, and thank you all for looking at my videos and watching at my project. So thank you very much. I loved it. And who knows, until next time. And if you follow me on my channel, then we'll see each other there. Thank you for watching this one, and I'd love to see you for the next one. Thank you. Bye.